I would tell you this. I would like there to be no Formula One race on that day.
On IndyCar week. Yeah. Indy 500
the reason
weekend.
I say that is because of what happened in 2017 with Fernando Alonso realizing that this is already a lost season with McLaren. The Honda engine is as terrible as ever. The partnership's as terrible as ever. We have no chance to be anywhere near competitive, really, frankly, the entire season, but certainly at Monaco. Why not just say screw it and go run the Indianapolis 500 where I will have a competitive car? And that's exactly what he did. And I think if we had, let's say the Monaco Grand Prix took place the weekend before, or maybe you even have a 2-week buffer because of the way qualifying is for the Indianapolis 500 now. I know that I guess you could theoretically buy a ride, but I know it's quite frequently frowned upon. I think that would incentivize, maybe I'll just throw his name out here, Lewis Hamilton, Max Verstappen, one of those guys coming to run the Indianapolis 500, even if it's not a superstar. Any active F1 driver that wants to, get one step closer to the Triple Crown or wants to come try this big race, the Indianapolis 500, it's now exponentially easier for them to come do that without sacrificing on the Formula One side if you don't have the Monaco Grand Prix take place on the same day. Because it's hard enough just to do the Indy Charlotte double. And God bless Kyle Larson. I hope everything works out next year and he goes on and puts on a heck of a performance in both races. Kurt Busch, I think, did a hell of a job in 2014. But you're not obviously going to make it across the entire Atlantic. I mean, that's just the logistics don't make that possible. You have to skip the race outright, which is what Alonso did to his credit. But if you had an off weekend for Formula One on that day, selfishly, yes, we would have to wait until lunchtime for a motor race. We wouldn't have breakfast at Monaco and then lunch at Indianapolis and dinner at Charlotte. But I think it would give us an opportunity to see something even greater for the sport. And that's a driver from one discipline coming over to try this race and maybe even having a shot at winning it like Fernando Alonso did in 2017 without having to skip a race at their day job, if you will, in Formula One.
I think, honestly, the cross-pollination of, having drivers jump disciplines, it does nothing but a good thing for both sports. You're pulling fans from one sport to another. A lot of people jumped over to watch Indy solely because Fernando Alonso was driving. And I think the team that has the ability to facilitate this crossover is McLaren, because they're being very kind of upfront about the fact that they have like Pato O'Ward kind of testing F1 cars. Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris would do amazing things at the Indy 500, I think. So, if that is something that they could start to kind of navigate with the F1 calendar, then that opens up a lot of doors. But let's be honest, F1 can't even navigate their own calendar because we can't even manage to get them to do 3 races in the same continent back to back. So there's no way that they're going to work the calendar around someone else's series.
Yeah, but I will say this one last point though. 2021 Monaco was on the 23rd of May. The Indy 500 was on the 30th of May. So you don't even have to go back but 2 years to a time where we had a Monaco Grand Prix. It came back after the pandemic took it away from us in 2020. And when they brought it back, it was the weekend before the 500. Now, again, I think you get an even better shot at that cross-pollination, like you were mentioning, Joey, if you have a 2-week break so that a driver can go to Indianapolis and dedicate their full focus to that. But, again, it's not, the sky would not fall if we didn't have that triple header for us here in American motorsports. If the Monaco Grand Prix was not on that same weekend, it wouldn't make the event any less special for me. And I think, if anything, it would open up the opportunity for something even more special with a driver coming over from a different discipline.
Yeah, and we all know that F1 does not make decisions of viewing times based around American audiences. Las Vegas being at midnight was proof of that. Midnight for me, sorry, 3 a.m. for you.
Yeah, midnight for us in the Pacific was probably great for everyone in Europe, but yeah, East Coast America, they were up late.